Welcome back to Too Human.
Go.
Today's the day we're going to finish this game. Yes, this is the moment everyone's been waiting for ever since the first update.
Heavy resistance! Light resistance!
Which one is it?
Enemy damaged.
Fallen will be found! Not in the face!
Yes, the robot voice saying "not in the face" is one of the highlights of the episode.
Behold, mortals, the final destination of your kind, Helheim Citadel. It is within these walls that the deceased end their journey.
Poetic. Heard that before. Ha! That was no battle.
Was Boulder trying to encourage his men by saying, "This is hell, this is where you're all going"?
By Odin, I love this!
Do you hear that? They love this, so his speech might not have had the intended effect.
Glory shines upon us!
And that explains the shitty lighting model.
None shall pass!
I'm kinda surprised, honestly, none of them say it's just a flesh wound. And this fight continues on, and on, and on, and on. And there are ghosts in the back, too.
The men are breaking, sir.
Will some glue help?
Nothing like a little action.
Well, that was a really bad time to say this, because now we're going on this lift. For some inexplicable reason, this lift is actually longer than any of the game's loading screens. So I can only assume this is a product of some intelligent artistic design. If they were planning to play some dialogue here, they forgot it. And it's over. Only took nearly a minute.
Kill them all! Is that thing dangerous? Here we go. I hit that thing!
Oh look, this room is not a straight line. It's got a twisty bit in the middle. Unfortunately, in Too Human, the shape of the path through the room matters less than it does in any tower defense game.
Take him now!
Well, someone is getting laid tonight, and not to eternal rest. Yeah, what the hell was up with that cutscene? Was it supposed to be tragic, action-packed, dramatic? It only succeeded at being unintentional comedy.
I need a vacation.
Then book your tickets with Valkyrie Airlines. Now, excuse me, I'm going to do some sped-up crafting, because the two swords I've got don't seem to be pulling their weight anymore. I'm going to replace my sword with a big stick. It's going to make another cutscene unintentionally hilarious, but we'll get there when we get there.
Damn it! I killed him!
And now, even sped up, you'll be able to see me jump and get stuck on enemies below me, so that Balder can neither land nor attack. Just a reminder, the death animations are unskippable. On the plus side, that was the last flying fat man in the mission.
Squad, wait here till further notice. Where's he going? Don't know. Don't care. Easier business, I guess. Just watch our backs. This isn't the safest place, you know. No worries about that. I aim to get out of here.
Sure, but will it be in a bag or on a pair of Valkyrie wings?
Damn comedians.
It's time to learn the final cyber power, the Cybertruck. Wait, no, I can summon fire now. Oh, and by the way, I got the last component for decrypting, what was it? Hode's implant. Yeah. It could have been an annoying side quest, but no, they just give it to you in a normal story progression. Anyway, let's rub our hands together and summon fire. Yep, that's how it works. Let's go solve a puzzle. Epic. According to the choir, I got something valuable out of this. I don't care. Okay, so that was just an explodey bit. And now we're on our way to the final boss of the game. Yes, it's time. You can tell by the complete lack of tension in the air, or any atmosphere whatsoever. Yeah, you know definitely that this is where they just gave up and decided to finish it.
Hell! Vile creature of the underworld! Bring Loki forth or suffer my wrath!
Balder, welcome back.
Back? I have never visited your realm of ghosts and shadow until now, bitch! Where is Loki?
Long gone. And you are mistaken, for I have entertained you in these halls before, as I will tonight. Come. We have much to discuss. The human body is a remarkable system, able to repair over time and adapt to a wide variety of circumstances. Observe. This specimen has received a bullet wound to the head, yet still it functions, albeit in a rudimentary way. You see, Baldur, the system denies death, each part of the brain adapting and relearning to cope with its diminished capacity. This ability of the human brain is known as graceful degradation. This wound will prove too much for it. Death will soon follow. Humanity's future is limited by its inability to react to these extremes. My entire life, I have searched for the answer, as my own body was consumed by disease. And I know how to do it. Just think. True immortality, Baldur. Not the quackery the Aesir practice. Look closer, Baldur, as only a god can. Nidhogg, the great devourer, is once again within this realm. I have freed him, and his appetite is insatiable. He will not rest until every dead molecule of this world is consumed. And that can only mean one thing. Ragnarok has begun. Nidhogg consumes that which is dead and regurgitates it as a living entity. Much like you. You are by far my best work. If the agreement with Odin had not been broken, it would have been perfect.
You sow lies like your damned father!
Thousands of years of tradition, broken for you, Baldur. All for you. Visheil, Baldur. To your health, my child.
You torment these souls as though it were a game. As executor of the will of the Aesir, I will destroy you!
After I check out this room, because it's the only unique place in this entire fucking area. What's that plank? I see. A great panorama of a throne. Was this released before or after the original Assassin's Creed? Man, how did we miss it? What? The cart of hay that's obviously at the base of this tower. I think we should have run past it when we were fighting that, whatever the fuck that dog was. Or maybe this is Saruman's tower? Well, I suppose that's enough of that, world building? No. A graphics showcase? No, it looked like shit. And it wasn't showing me the animations. It's just some kind of thing you can do with the camera when you're a big shot director. Or just have a drone. So, do you feel the build-up for the final boss now? No? Funny, she's in the next room.
Odin's favorite son.
So, she's got her kick. She's got the fuck-off laser, which I think increases in power the longer you let it stay. And yeah, she teleports all the time.
Odin's favorite son. Do you know what it took to kill you? How hard it is to kill a god?
I'm pretty sure Baldur's seen at least 2 die at this point, so yeah, he's a bit of an expert. Do you like this epic boss music? Anyway, on to the next phase, which is going to take far longer because she gets a defense boost.
Are there holes in your mind? Voids where memories once were? How much did the Aesir tell you? How much did they tell you about your wife, Niana?
Murdered.
Was she? My records say she was a suicide. The Aesir tried to resurrect her over and over, and each time she slashed her life away. Life without you was unbearable. When they could do no more, they dumped her corpse on my doorstep. She belongs to me now. Come, child.
Baldur? They told me you were dead. I couldn't live. Not without you.
Leave her be, wastrel whore! I swear I will end her suffering, and theirs, and make sure you feel their pain 1,000-fold!
Will you? And what of the pain you've caused? You are disgusted by what she did to join you in death's embrace, yet you deny your hand in her death. She died because of you. She lives now because of me.
I will end it.
Human suffering is without end, Baldur. By its very nature, it cannot end. Nidhogg is a most persistent beast.
All the cruelty and pain you inflicted, I will carve into your flesh! Your agonized shrieks shall be your only monument!
And what then? Will your life be complete? Come to my aid, children.
And so she summons zombies now, which are more dangerous than she is, because Baldur cannot dodge bullets.
Did you think Odin was the only one to master the runes?
Overall, though, it's business as usual.
Cyberspace bends to my will, Baldur. Did you think Odin was the only one to master the runes? Cyberspace bends to my will.
You may have noticed some repetition in the lines she was saying, but you see, cyberspace bends to her will.
Did you think Odin was the only one to master the runes? Cyberspace bends to my will.
You know, in a game where you die and instantly respawn, a better boss design would just require 3 hits, but to land each of those hits you need to run through a gauntlet of, I don't know, traps or enemies without dying. It would have worked much better than a boss doomed to lose a war of attrition.
Did you think Odin was the only one to master the runes? Cyberspace bends to my will, Baldur. Did you think Odin was the only one to master the runes? My father was right. The Aesir are so self-righteous.
Wow, they took a quarter of my health in 2 hits. You may be thinking there'd be some catch to dying in a boss fight against the character who is responsible for Baldur, you know, coming back to life. But no, it's just business as usual. And the camera fucks up, of course. I think Hell gets a couple of new attacks for Phase 3, but wait till you see the location.
Nidhogg consumes the dead, and from his belly the Drog stumbles forth.
I should not have stopped to fight them. This is one of the few rooms in the game you can run through without killing everything in it. That was a strange delay in the sound. Did somebody fall off the edge? Okay, let's just run for the final battle. We finished this in an octagon, MMA style.
Odin's favorite son. Cyberspace bends to my will. Did you think Odin was the only one to master the runes?
That was one of the new attacks. She throws skulls at Boulder like an NES boss.
Cyberspace bends to my will. Did you think Odin was the only one to master the runes? Cyberspace bends to my will. Let me finish what I started.
Was that a new attack? The ground exploding under Boulder? In any case, I'm mostly dying to zombies because fighting them is a waste of time, and they've got pretty damaging weapons and you can't dodge the bullets unless they miss themselves. And as you see, Boulder's armor is flashing red because it's completely worn down and provides no protection.
Did you think Odin was the only one to master the runes? Cyberspace bends to my will.
Okay, we're watching this again. At least Hell doesn't have that much health left. Although she does definitely take way less damage from attacks in the second and the third phases. And if I were playing as someone who doesn't specialize in close combat attacks, this fight would have taken way longer.
Did you think Odin was the only one to master the runes?
I don't even know what the runes are.
The necromantic power of Nidhogg is limitless.
And now the Valkyrie clips through the floor. Okay, get ready to applaud.
Cyberspace.
I couldn't live without you, so I followed you into the dark. And now you're here. We can be as we were, together. Make the pain stop!
My Niana is dead. You are just a memory, animated in flesh.
Stop the pain! Stop it! Stop it!
Fenrir! Bastard wolf!
And so Balder kills his wife and levels up. Okay, let's try out the turret skill. I see, that's another source of stock sound effects. Now, as you see, the game is not over yet. We need to get out of here. There is no timer, there is no rush, there is just a horde of zombies and... I'm not sure why they decided not to end the mission after the boss, but I guess they had their reasons, such as stupidity. Mind, I don't have to run all the way back to the beginning, just to the place where the cart of hay was. This is literally the last combat room of the game, but I'm going to fuck around in it for a little while for two reasons. One of which is that I need to trigger some story dialogue, and the other one is I need to make a certain cutscene extra stupid. By the way, I hope you appreciate the slicing sound Balder's stick made when he hit his zombie wife. Yeah, I think if you pick a hammer for that cutscene, the game replaces it with a sword, but apparently a staff was not that big a deal.
Brothers, we must pull out of this area. This is a battle we cannot win.
I think I've killed the same warrior 7 times over!
And what of Hel? She is no more. She has fallen prey to the Nidhogg virus, and has joined the ranks of her children.
We have verified that Loki has escaped. This battle is lost.
My sons, you have fought a brave battle. I am proud. But you are worth more to me by my side than in the halls of the underworld. Break off the attack and return home. If Hel has fallen, then our job here is done.
As you will, Father.
'Tis a dark day indeed, when Thor must flee for a second time in his many missions.
Alright, there's only one more thing left for me to do here, and that is to get poisoned. For that I need to light this guy up and then kill him.
Initiating
are their protectors.
Says who? Odin? You?
Why have you wrought this chaos?
The Aesir have grown.
Decode the underlying signal.
We dote upon these humans. Why should we serve them? Hode, what's wrong?
You're mad.
What are you doing?
Alright, so that's the big plot reveal. But as you see, the game is still not over. And nobody seems to be around. Let's go look for them. And my armor is glowing, which, as I was pleasantly surprised, carries over into the cutscenes.
Lord Baldur, your presence is requested in the feasting hall. Thank you.
Ah yes, the feasting hall, where it all began.
In these, the halls of the Aesir, the gods themselves deign us with their presence. Although technically...
Wow, I've beaten the game and they couldn't be bothered to replace this? They put more effort into this when Loki escaped. Now let's see if there's anything interesting at the World Tree, because the Norns were the ones who told Baldur to study the records. And there is nothing there. No, there is nothing there. You just need to go to the feasting hall and get your fucking ending. So, this is it. Up ahead is the final cutscene of the game, which is supposed to both finish this chapter of the saga and set up the following parts. Because this was supposed to be a trilogy. But at the same time, 2 Humans should be able to stand on its own as the pilot game in a series. Because the sales of the second and the third game would definitely depend on how well this does. Let's see.
To lost brothers.
Tyr died a warrior's death.
'Tis a fate we all aspire to.
A grievous loss. Nonetheless, I shall drink to honor him, and drink his share. It would be a shame to let it go to waste.
You think he will not drink for eternity in Valhalla with Odin?
Baldur, you do not drink with us?
I drink up, lad. There is much mourning to be done.
Did you toast to me when I lay upon a marble slab in hell?
No, we did not. We put our minds to bringing you home.
My memories, wife, my life all gone. You raided Helheim to recover my body. My death started all this.
Your murder. You had died too early, too young. You had yet to live up to your true potential and calling.
I am no longer the Baldur you knew before. That Baldur died with Hode's bullet.
And yet here you are, drinking, talking, living with your brothers. Would you rather have stayed dead?
Put the past behind you, and live for the future. There is much to do, Baldur.
The future? Tyr is dead, and the secrets of the sentient weapons died with him. The dead themselves walk upon this earth, and I am among them. Why didn't you tell me?
Brother, we did not lie to you. Our bombardment will not delay them long, but we have bought time to prepare.
And Loki?
There are many other places he might find refuge. Legendary places lost in time and the chaos of cyberspace. We must find him before he can orchestrate another attack upon Asgard.
And that's it. That's the story resolved. Oh wait, no, it isn't. Nothing has been resolved. Nothing is concluded. Everything is left for the sequels. Boulder is a bit grumpy, I guess, but he is still their bitch. But at the same time, it's pretty clear they were never intending to make a sequel. I mean, what would they have called it? Too Human 2? Die Bot Die? Sorry, D Bot D? Also, we've had a bunch of people come into the thread to say that they remember having played Too Human, but they don't remember actually playing it. The game sort of leaves a void inside your head. And a suggested explanation was that the game doesn't really excel in anything when it comes to gameplay. There is a bit of generic mob fighting you'll get from a Diablo clone, and there is fighting the giant, what are they called? Trolls, where you're supposed to aim at weak points, which seems like it's borrowed from a completely different game and doesn't really gel with fast-paced, slaughter them all kind of gameplay. It's a complete mishmash of styles and nothing stands out, and to that I might add that the first 3 missions were essentially using the same enemy pool, slightly expanded over time. Well, actually, the 3rd mission didn't even do that. And the environments in which these missions take place don't really have anything that stands out apart from 1 or 2 rooms. For the most part, you're just fighting the same guys in straight bent or wider hallways, and it all blends together. Oh, you see that credit says content director, main writer, Ken McSomething? Look his name up in Google. Add the date, 2014. Just look it up. Maybe right now. Yeah, so I guess let's talk about how awful this game's story is. And it's awful not because it's badly written, because, well, it is. No, it's awful because nothing happens. There are no story arcs. Since this is based on legends, we might as well take a traditional approach. Let's have a hero who faces a challenge he or she cannot overcome. Ever. Because of the nature of the obstacle and the nature of the hero. And the story is the story of how the hero changes to overcome the obstacle. That's a character arc. Or perhaps the hero refuses to change and fails, and you get a tragedy. The problem with Too Human is that nothing of that sort happens. Let's look at the events. Boulder finds out he's been undead the whole time. That's not an arc, that's the beginning of one. How is he going to feel about it in the long run? That's what's interesting. Boulder finds out he's been lied to by the rest of the Aesir. That's not an arc, that's just one event. Loki escapes. Was that even a part of the plot? Oh yeah, some soldiers decided to side with Loki, and for that the Aesir executed a bunch of them. I guess that's going to have consequences, but not in this game. No. Okay, the one thing that's sort of approaching the story arc is when Boulder finds out that his wife was killed by, what's his name? Hode? And he goes out there and he kills Hode, and that's it. Does Boulder need to overcome himself to kill his former comrade? No, he just goes out there and kills the fucker. Does Boulder need to overcome some external circumstances to go and kill Hode? No, he just comes into the office of his boss and says, I want to go on a mission to kill Hode. Sure, knock yourself out. We were planning to send someone to kill him anyway. And there is no apparent remorse afterwards. He just goes and does a thing and it doesn't affect him in any way. Well, of course people don't remember this kind of story. The characters barely remember this story. I mean, the events barely affect them at all. I mean, even the moment when Boulder kills his zombie wife and gets mad experience points is kind of lost on us, because all we know about Boulder and his wife from prior game is that she had touched his face once. Yeah. Okay, so why is this important? Why is she important to him? Hell knows. But she's dead too. Characters keep dying, we keep not caring, and neither do the characters in the game. I mean, sure, the animators pick a sad face from the library of facial animations they're using, but does anyone really care that Tyr died? The one thing people remember in his well-practiced suicide attack was that his bomb was beeping while it was exploding. Also, Thor got a free drink out of that's all we know. Does Thor change in this game? No. Do any of the Aesir change through the course of the game? Well, I suppose Frey expresses his doubts. But Frey expresses his doubts in the very first cutscene we see him in, so he may be just expressing his doubts all the fucking time, so why should this matter? Maybe he is responsible for, like, the safety regulations in the building and he gives everyone a lecture on how to properly use the fire extinguishers every Friday, so maybe they're just sick of it. I don't know. The game tries to tell me that this is the first time he's expressed concern, but I don't know, I didn't see it. My fucks are a limited resource, and this game has failed to encourage me to give any. They saved everything for the sequel, which is never coming. Thank fuck, because the gameplay was atrocious. Seriously, the control scheme is terrible. It's a combination of stick gestures for the basic melee attacks and very loose aiming for your guns. It just doesn't work right. Baldur always feels like he's on a semi-autopilot because he kind of decides by himself whether or not he wants to do a close-range move or a long-range move, whether he wants to slide to one enemy or to another. It's really unpleasant. Also, you know, the lack of switchable weapon sets in a game where enemies can be weak or strong against several different damage types is also a really stupid thing. But wow, there is a crafting system, and there is a system for painting your armor because why not? It's an incoherent mess of ideas, some of which are probably leftovers from the late 90s, when this game was supposed to be a PlayStation 1 title. And then they maybe cut something here, cut something there, bolted on something that seemed fashionable at the time in the following decade, decided to make it a 4-player co-op adventure, only to realize in the last minute they could only manage 2 players. 2 Human is not the worst game I've played, but if you've been watching this channel, you know that's a very low bar to clear. I'd say Magus is more entertaining because of all the stupid magic powers you get there, and Never Dead is just better in every respect. That's not to say it's good, it's just better than this. Why are the credits still going? Why were there so many people involved in this train wreck? And from all over the world, no less, and none of them stopped and said, "This is going to be shit." At least the main writer got sent into prison, but not for this. And it's like they're deliberately scrolling the credits at a very low speed, but oh, at least we've arrived at special thanks. That usually indicates the end is nigh. I should probably start thinking what games to play next. Well, actually, I know, since I've got the 360 plugged in, I might as well play the game I kinda bought it for. Yes, it's Over-G Fighters. What the fuck is Over-G Fighters? Well, let's find out after we take a look at the voice acting talent. So there's Julianne Grossman voicing both the receptionist and the tour guide, 2 women in the same room. And there's Crispin Freeman doing his Baldur and Wolf recruit. They're 2 characters who are never going to talk to one another. And there's Steve Blum doing what Steve Blum does quite a lot. But there is a separate voice actress for Nyana, a character who has about 3 lines in the entire game. They've got Paul Eiding to play their barkeep. Man, they've got a shit ton of people into those stuffy recording booths. It's a shame that none of them got any good lines, because, well, the writing sucks. Yeah, also the credits have been going for so long my controller fell asleep. I wouldn't be surprised if it turned out that watching the credits added to your overall gameplay time. Any minute now I'm going to... yeah, I wasn't really looking at the screen during the credits roll, I've got other things to do. And how come there are so many characters in the game? I could only name like 6 at best. I'm pretty sure some of the troopers actually have the same faces despite being different characters. Fuck 2 Human. So anyway, OVG Fighters is the 3rd game in the Energy Air Force series. The first 2 were on the PlayStation 2, and Energy Air Force Aim Strike, the 2nd game, was one I Let's Played earlier, and it's probably one of the most hardcore flight sims you can find on a console. Now, OVG Fighters tries to sort of backpedal a little to ditch the realism, but primarily ditches common sense. It's a game that tries to satisfy people who like a flight simulator, but at the same time also the people who like Ace Combat, where you just fly around in a plane and blow shit up. And it works, in a very interesting way. It doesn't work in a very interesting way, I should say. Also, it's trying to have a story, and it's got like talking heads explaining to you whatever is happening in the world. And it's using the real-world maps, so it's trying to be real, in that our forces are trying to establish a world state, and all the third world countries who disagree are labeled as terrorists and need to be bombed. Also, whoever made OVG Fighters really does not understand how game design works. But I suppose the same could be said about the people who made 2 Human. So, 2 Human, what are your parting words?
The World Tree welcomes you.